Welcome to this video tutorial on the 10 steps to value momentum analysis. First, let's do a recap on the 10 steps. So the first 8 steps is to identify, is it a very good business? The next 2 steps is to identify, are you buying at the right price? Are you buying at the right time? And to me, knowing what to buy is not as important as knowing when to buy and also knowing when to sell. So what are the first 8 steps? Number 1, a very good business should have consistently increasing sales, earnings, and cash flow for at least the last 4 to 5 years. And we also want to look at the most recent quarterly earnings and sales growth to make sure that the sales and earnings are accelerating in the last 2 to 3 quarters. Second criteria, the company should have a sustainable competitive advantage, a narrow or wide economic moat. Third criteria, the company should have positive future growth drivers. And the future growth should be positive and at least in the double digits. Next criteria, the company should not take on too much debt. It should have conservative debt. And we look at the long-term debt being less than 4 times of its net profit. Next criteria, ensure the company's return on equity, ROE, is consistently above 12 to 15%. And we also want to look at ROIC as well, return on invested capital. Next criteria, the company has got healthy cash flow. So in other words, the company's sales are growing faster than its working capital. And the company's cash conversion cycle is consistent or decreasing, but definitely not increasing too much. Next criteria, ensure that the management of the company, the insiders, are holding or buying the stock. If some of the insiders are selling the stock, no cause for concern. But if a majority of the board of directors are selling the stock and a huge percentage of their stocks, then it's a cause for concern. Next criteria, read about the risks in the analyst report to find out what are the risks of investing in this company and whether the risks are well managed. This is not a pass or fail criteria. It's just something which is good to read up on. So once it's a good company, you can put it on your watch list to watch it to make sure that you buy it at the right time. So we want to make sure that the share price is near or below the intrinsic value. We do not want to pay too much for the stock. The next criteria, always ensure that the stock price is on an uptrend. It's on a medium-term uptrend and a short-term uptrend. So the 50-day moving average must be above the 150-day moving average, and both moving averages should not be sloping down. Or the candle should be above the 200-day moving average with the 200 DMA sloping up. At the same time, you want to enter when the 20 EMA is above the 40 EMA. This gives you upward price momentum. So notice again all the colors, and we say that a stock doesn't have to pass all the criteria for it to be a trade or an investment. It depends on you. In fact, all you need for the stock price to go up is for the green criteria to be in place, right? So if you are kind of like, I like to call it a one-night stand, right? If you are more of a short-term trader, you just look at the greens. So in other words, as long as the sales, earnings, and cash flow are accelerating in the last few quarters, last few years, as long as the future growth is positive and double digit, as long as it's on an uptrend, boom, you can enter and go long on the stock. Now, what are the blue ones for? The blue ones tell you that this stock will not just go up now. It's not a one-hit wonder, but it's something that will go up consistently over the next 5 to 10 years. So the blue ones tell you that it's got a sustainable competitive advantage, so it can continue to grow its profits and sales over the long haul. It's got a high ROE, and it is undervalued, meaning to say the share price has a lot of room to correct to its true value and beyond that. Okay, so I like to again draw the metaphor where the blue ones means you want to get married to the stock. All right, you're not just in it for one night stand, you want to hold it for quite a long time, right? Which is maybe 3 to 5 years, or maybe even more than that. Yeah, the yellow criteria are to tell you that okay, this company will not go bust. Okay, if the worst were to happen, the company goes through a huge recession, it will not die, okay? It will come back, Hence, the yellow one is kind of like a safety net, if you will, yeah? So, if you're the kind of person that likes to buy and close your eyes and hold it, then it has to pass all the criteria. Okay, people like Warren Buffett who buy stocks for the long term, predictable companies, he wants to make sure they pass all the criteria. Yeah. But if you're someone who's in it for the short or medium term investment and you're putting a stop loss, because of the stop loss, that's your safety net. So you can ignore the yellow criteria in that case. If you're very short term, just go for the green criteria is good enough. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a live demonstration on how do you analyze this for, first of all, a US stock, a large cap stock.